What is up, old school RuneScape fans? Your boy John McGarrett's back with another episode of Fresh Start. Today's episode, I want to go over where we're at with the traders so far, the 20 traders. Then I want to go over some charts and check on the experiments that I forgot about from 2 days ago. And then look over the Rune Forecast, the item forecast, and just kind of talk about it. Just you run in the mill, standard video, nothing crazy going on. But it should be a good one. I got a lot of information today to put things into perspective for players of why you should be doing this. And if you're brand new here, Fresh Start is a series where I gave away my bank. It was about 3.4 bill, and I rebuilt it from scratch. And I decided to do it from the perspective of a free-to-play player, so anybody could rebuild their bank and follow along this series and then see how to grow wealth on RuneScape.com, even if you're free to play. Like the best moneymaker I've been able to figure out has been free to play. It's very scalable. It's very, very good. So with that being said, let's hop right into it. So today's net worth, after I did all the trades and stuff like that, we are up to a 21.63 mil. That was 22 hours later with the 2 hours of downtime. So in 20 hours, because it seems to be a server, there was a server reset, server maintenance going on. So it was in 20 hours, I was able to make roughly 1.4 mil. So then we added about I just rounded it up to 200k. I wrote down some math here. So I did 20 accounts in 10 minutes and 10 seconds. So if you did that, so if you 10 minutes is 600 seconds plus 60 is 600. So then if we took that, how many accounts can you do per hour doing this method? 20 accounts took 10 minutes. So per reset per day is 10 minutes. But as you grow your gold pile, you're gonna increase your AFK time. Because like say you get to about 4 mil, you're only realistically gonna need to check the account once per week to do a reset. So then 10 minutes with 4 mil per account, 40 mil up front, but it's still only 10 minutes, 10 seconds to do the reset. I was messing around chatting with friends too, so like it was kind of a slow time. If I was trying harder, I probably could have got it down to about 9, but still not that bad. But if you wanted to go by hour, we could do that 5.45 times. If you take that times 20, we should be able to do about 109 accounts per hour. If like for labor cost, if you wanted to, like, if you guys were curious about that, I was curious about it, and I think it was interesting, but still. So once per day I'm doing, because my cash stack is kind of small. It's about 1 mil, but I feel like once I get up to the, I feel like I could have let it go for a couple days. So this might be every other day check just to show you guys. But for now, we're just going to do daily, just so I can stay on top of the trades and stay on top of the forecast for you guys. But still, once you get to about 4, like, it sounds like a lot of labor. I mean, it's not, but we could stretch it out. We can make this even more AFK, make this the ultimate AFK, some would say. I would say the ultimate AFK moneymaker. We could stretch this out to about 1 day a week. And then, as you add more gold to each trader, it becomes more and more AFK. So, like, essentially, let's say you have 40 mil on an account. I know that's a lot of money to have on 20 accounts. I'm just saying, for one account, if you had 40 mil on, then you could probably not have to check them as long as the margin's held. Like, you'd only need to check them once a week. You wouldn't need to really adjust any of the trades if you didn't want to. So then you're just simply reducing the labor time to logging in on the 20 accounts, which would probably only take about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. But then when you do a reset, it would still roughly take about the same amount of time, because it's the same amount of clicks. So then we are increasing the AFK here, but still 20 minutes a day, or 10 minutes a day for 20 accounts is not that much labor. And for what we're getting for the 10 minutes a day, we got about a 1.4 mil profit. As you can see here, I went from 20.2 to 21.63, so we actually got a little bit more than 1.4 mil. But I wrote the math down. Each account made 71,700 GP in the 20 hours. So if we divided that by 20 hours, we made per account 3,585 GP per hour. So that if we were to take that 24 cycle, we are sitting at 86,000 per trader. So now if we take that times 20, we're looking at roughly about a 1.7 mil profit per day. And then just to make this fun, let's take this times, what are we going to see in a year of doing this? If we just stayed at the rate we're at, we're looking at making 628 mil per year passive income. Passive income is the important part here. So I mean, like, this is a free-to-play method. completely leverageable by anybody. That's why I believe this is the ultimate AFK moneymaker, and we can scale this up. You know what I'm saying? Because you got 10 minutes, we could do 109 an hour. So if we did 109 times, what was it, 35.85. That's 390K an hour. So we take that times 24, 9.3 mil a day. If we take that times a year, you're looking at 3.4 bill a year at this rate. You know, that's if we keep getting the rate, because the market's going to fluctuate around, like the supply and the demand is going to move around. Like, that's why I said, even if we stick it at a goal of 30K a day, we're still looking pretty good, I think. So 30K a day, this is very, very, very reasonable. And if we take that times 365, we're still making 1.1 bill a year with an hour's worth of labor a day maximum. You know what I mean? So I mean, like, very, very, very strong moneymaker. Very strong, very strong. We're still doing really good. That's the whole point of this entire thing. I just want to keep showing you guys that, like, I just want to reinforce this method over and over and over again, and just show you guys that we are able to make this kind of money. Right, so we're killing it. As you can see here, we're getting good amounts of flow. Just looking at a couple accounts, we got buys, we got sells, we got buys, we got sells, we got buys, we got sells. Good sell-buy ratio there, good sell-buy ratio there, you know, good sell-buy ratio there. You know, we got a little bit, whatever, you know what I mean? And, like, if you wanted to do it the other method is I don't know, I prefer that now, just because I want to maximize slots, and I'm just kind of, it makes it simpler to set things up, because these resets are easier to keep it closed, but it is also a little annoying when you have to, okay, this one's got this to sell. Should I sell this? Should I buy this? Should I just hold this in my inventory? You know what I mean? You have to make a bunch of little micro decisions per account. Again, only took 10 minutes, not that big of a deal. And you could probably systematize it a little bit more by just, like, having an account go for only earth or fire runes, only air runes, just to even simplify this even more. So then you'd have one slot selling air, two buying fire, instead of splitting it up like I'm doing right here. So I'm sure there's plenty of optimizations. There's 100 ways to skin a cat. I just wanted to kind of just say all that. So now let me grab the experiments and get my notes about them real quick. These guys, okay, so we have a couple. I'm just gonna briefly go over these guys. I don't think I'm gonna look at this too much, because, like, look at this. It's 2 days, 19 hours, and Grapes didn't even buy 68,000. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if we just take that on its face, 2 times 24, 48 plus 20, we had 68 hours. If you divided 56, and we're only looking at 1 GP margin here, maybe 2 actually, because when I was checking the chart, it peaked up a little bit. That's why we're seeing a sale. The sale's not coming in very good. And again, I'll talk about that when we talk about the Rune Forecast, the item forecast. So if we take 68, 56,221 divided by 68, we're getting 800 an hour per day for one slot. Mind you, it's one slot. We're almost to the 30K. So one slot's still a decent item. You know what I mean? It's just not as good. You know what I mean? It all depends what you want. If you like that, so I mean, again, it's a pickable item. It's not that bad. And if we were to double it, because we were to sell the margin for 2 GP for this cycle, then it would be a little bit, you know, we hit our 30K per day mark. So it's not a bad item. It's just, like, I like the consistent flow. You know what I mean? So then our adamant arrow sold for a 1 GP profit. So we made that. And we did buy 104,000 in the 68 hours. 2 days, 19 hours. Did I do that wrong? 1 second. Plus 19. 67. Well, whatever. 68, whatever. It doesn't hurt the math that much. So 104,000. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, 67 hours. 1 GP, you know, times 24 hours puts us over our goal. Mithril arrows, pretty good. Besides that last, I don't know if you guys remember from the last episode, there was a crash down to 1 GP, high and low. So that kind of, maybe that was the reason why we got so many arrows here, or was that after I put the offer? I think it was before I put the offer in. So yeah, and we did manage to sell 89K arrows on the other end of this. So this did complete a whole cycle. Same thing with these adamant arrows. We were able to sell them for 10 and grab them back for 9. So hypothetically, we were going to be able to see this happen. So these two, I think, are decent picks. Mithril arrows, pretty good because it's the same as an elemental rune. It's just going to be, so I'd say it's like an earth rune. I would say mithril arrows are like an earth rune. So pretty good. And then the maple logs did sell for 17. We got them for 16. Now, like the weaknesses of these items is that there's more upfront capital required to invest in them because you have a lower ROI then. So it just kind of like is a barrier of entry for newer players because, you know, you want to try to get your money to work as fast as possible. Yes, 1 GP doesn't sound like much, but like when you every million units, you need an extra million GP to invest in this type of item. So like we're getting this for 5, and if we only have a million, just real quick here, sorry. Yep, so we get 166,000, but if we get 1 million fire runes, we're gonna get extra 33k per cycle per season. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's going to compound a lot faster because like if this is divided by 6, it's only 5,000. But if we already divide that by 5, we're already getting another 1,100, so, or 1,111. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it compounds a lot faster when we put this in terms of scale. It doesn't seem like a lot when it's a low amount of money, but when you start messing with billions of GP, like a billion divided by 5 is 200 million. But if we take a billion divided by 6, now it's only 166 million. So now we're losing 34 mil. Okay? You know what I mean? That's what scale does. So like you got to think big picture here when you're thinking about these buys. And then now, like for instance, adamant arrows again. Now it's 3 more coins on top of that. So like what is that? Like an extra, let's just do the math real quick. Okay, so you know what I mean? Just 1 billion. I don't want to have to do it in my head. It's good for you guys to see it anyway. So now if we wanted to invest at adamant arrows, we're only going to get 100 million with 1 bill, mind you. And this is all possible. Everybody watching my stuff, this is all possible. You can get 1 billion. I'm showing you how. This is the roadmap. And again, I'm not going as hard as I used to. I used to run like 500 plus accounts. I could go like this. You don't have to worry about me competing with you, at least in this season, because I just want to give the money away to you guys. I want you guys to make some money. You know what I mean? Making a lot of money felt really good as a player of old school RuneScape for me, and I want to share that joy with the world. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not getting nothing for helping you guys out. I do like making the content. It makes me feel good to know that I'm helping people out. So it's like, it's a pretty decent trade. Okay, you know what I mean? Anyway, so with the adamant arrow, we're only getting 111 million instead of our 200 million off the fire rune. And the fire rune profit is only going to go up. So like, once the margins crash back down, they may never, but I'm guessing they're going to crash back down to 5.4 eventually. We'll talk about that a little bit. But like, imagine when we start getting them for 4. Now we're making an extra 50 mil per cycle of our 1 bill cycle, okay? And 1 billion is not that hard to wash. If we go by 4 million, it's only 250 accounts operating at the efficiency I was operating them at before. Right. Okay. Hopefully that covers that. Maple logs, again, feel like I don't need to say it, but let's just do it just so you guys have the mental image in your head. Let's divide it by 16. Now we're only making 62 mil per cycle instead of 200 mil, or instead of 250 mil when the runes come back down. Okay. Hopefully you guys understand. Plus that, and there's like the volatile. It's not a nothing trade. It's not. There's pros and cons to trading both things. You could potentially leverage. Okay, not leverage. Let me try to use better language. You could potentially utilize. You could potentially profit more off of stuff like maple logs, adamant arrows, and stuff like that because of their price being a little bit higher. They fluctuate, so there is opportunities for you to like see a gap in the market and then move in and then snipe an item. So like say there's a huge supply shock of maple logs, which is going to be easier to happen for maple logs because it has a lower volume than fire runes. So that it is possible that somebody can flood the entire market with like in one day, put like 20 million maple logs because they have their maple log collection. And they flood it and dump the price down to 5. You could, if you had the cash up front waiting for stuff like that, looking around the entire market, looking for stuff like that, you could scoop all that up. And when the margin recovers, just start to sell it back into the market on the low margin without destroying the margin. You know what I mean? Just by having a little patience and then selling it back. Those types of trades are possible with items like these a little bit more. But I just want us to focus on very simple, very profitable, very simple, very profitable. Okay, that's kind of our strategy here. And I want to increase. I don't like coaching people on stuff I think is kind of high risk. And I feel like that's higher risk because if you buy, let's say for that instance, you buy them all out of 5 but then you thought it was a supply shock, but that's just the new market now because there's some new botting method that makes Maple Logs 5 GP for a year now. You know what I mean? So you thought you were gonna like make a lot of money, and now you just keep buying all these at 5. Now your money's tied up in these items. Now you have to make a decision whether you want your cash back and take a hit to your GP, because maybe, let's say, yeah, for it just go full out on this situation, they keep dumping more and more, like a new botting method that does happen, that does crash the price of items quite frequently. New update comes out, Jagex didn't think about they have to wait for the botters and how the botters are going to respond. So then the botters are going to freaking flood into that item, destroy it. You know what I mean? We've seen it with oak logs, we've seen it with maple, we've seen it with willow. You know what I mean? Willow logs, back when I first started doing this, used to be like 10 GP each, and I used to flip those before runes and stuff. Like I would flip on, when I was doing my first 20 traders, Flippadora 1 through 19, I would flip on them. Flippadora and I would flip on those guys, and then they would flip those items. And maple logs were really cheap, willow logs were really cheap, oak logs were around 50 each. They're still kind of there. Oak logs are still doing that, but botters were botting in mass all of those logs. But now when we look at maple logs, still getting pretty low, but they're still a little bit higher than they used to be. I think I used to trade them at 10, 11, maybe 11, 12, something like that. But willow logs, I'm pretty sure, are sitting at over 100 still, or near 100. It's coming back down. So maybe there's another wave of bots. You know what I mean? What I was saying before, the reason why I think elemental runes are at 5-6 is because there's probably a huge ban wave of bots. But then when I remember made a video about last week or something like that, the willow logs were around 100 each, and now they've already really came down. Maybe this is just a small cycle. Maybe they'll go back up to 100, but there's a potential that bots are re-entering the game because free-to-play items are at most risk of getting hit by bots, because botters, they can make suicide bots, if you ever heard of that, is where they make tens of thousands. They have like these little programs that send Jagex millions of requests to make accounts at the same time. That's why we get timed out. Like, I don't know if there's a lot of lore here. There's a lot of things I could talk about here. But if you try to make too many Jagex accounts at the same time, now you'll get timed out and you'll have to wait to make accounts again. I can only make, because my IP, I've heard from other people, they've been able to make like 10, 20 accounts in one day before they get timed out. But me, since I've been doing this so long, I am limited to about 2 to 3 accounts per hour. That is the maximum I'm allowed to make per hour. And it's to stop like botters, real world traders, stuff like that, from like flooding the game with more bots than they already do. So they have, I mean, like you probably heard. There's a multitude of lore here. Like there's like the Remy dupe that was with suicide bots. They have access to these bots on standby that are like not banned yet, because Jagex has to wait for them to actually macro and break the rules. But it's not necessarily against the rules for them to mass. I think it's probably hard for Jagex to detect mass botted accounts, and they don't normally ban them until they enter the world, from what I understand, though. But like they could like flood worlds with accounts. That's a part of the reason why they made a 10 account limit for multi-scapers, or for just normal players. But I think a lot of that had to do with the to make it a little bit harder for them to roll back. With the, you look up Remy. Remy did a video about it, about how this guy used to, like, these botters, these glitchers, figured out a glitch where they could duplicate max cash stacks and stuff like that, and they duped like 500 billion to 1 trillion gold into the game or something like that. Now I'm way off the trail, and I don't know what I'm talking about right now. So I think I ranted enough. Let's just move on. We'll go to the forecast. Like I said, all right, that's what that was about, because we're waiting. We free-to-play items are the most at risk of swinging up and down and stuff like that. That's why we want to stick with these huge volume items, because it is very hard to manipulate those prices. So it's very easy for us to stay consistently profitable and then map out a year. You know what I mean? Like, that's all. Okay. Now, all that being said, let me close these. And then let's head to the forecast. Whoop. Okay. So looking at the main screen here of the items of the highest daily volume, this is our market. We have Pure Essence sitting at 400 mil, a negative margin, which means that we're probably still at 1-1. 1-1 with a couple marks at the top, so this is still a great item, as you can see. Oh, right. Also, too, this is what I wanted to point out. We had a server. The reason why I didn't make as much money yesterday as I did today my big reason is because I think we had the server maintenance at 3 o'clock to 5:10, I believe. The first sale we see at 5:10. Yep. So it's probably slow to start the market. You can kind of see here that like as we go in, the market's kind of slow. People are logging back in and they're resuming their trades. They're resuming activities. But it even looks like here it took about an hour before things started like really ramping up and really started trading. So right. But we got good volume of pure essence. Pure essence is probably super good right now. I have not checked with any of the of my multi-scapers in the Discord. Discord link down below if you're new here. We talk about multi-scape. I'm there for live support, live questions, and I'm building a community of people of this type of thing. I just want to build a community where we can all help each other out. So links down below if you make it this far. Also, I believe that you should be subscribed to me, because if you sat there and listened to me rant and rave for about 20 minutes and 30 seconds, I think you should be subscribed. I feel like I am for you. I'm making content to curate to a certain type of player. I just don't know how to really name them or something like that. I don't know my audience. I'm still trying to find my audience, but I'm just trying to help as many RuneScape players as possible. But I know that I am not like a super genius in all the fields. I have a very specific niche. But I think if you've been this far, me and you should have a relationship where I'm giving, you know what I mean? You should be subscribed. That being said, let's just keep moving on. Sorry. I just got to remember to do that more often. I got to do that way before 20 minutes. I think about 10 minutes, I think you should be subscribed to me. But anyway. I haven't talked to anybody in the Discord I should message and say if anybody made any sales. But yeah, for the last I heard, it's 1.4 to 1.6 is our margin for pure assets. That's what the bulkers are buying it off us for. So we're looking at a 40% to 60% ROI. And I did hear from my buddy Tangly Drop. He said you should be able to get about 1.2 mil pure essence a week. So there's a lot of opportunity there to make some money. I think, if off the top of my head, I think that's correct. If not, comment down below or whatever. But let's just do the hypothetical max here. 30,000 times 6, 180 times 7. 1.26. Yep. So that is your hypothetical. That's your theoretical maximum. Theoretical maximum means like you're not definitely going to get this, but potentially you should be able to get this, and you should be able to get this at the margin's gonna. It's a 1-1. This says 1-2, but it is a 1-1, as you can see here. Just in case anybody's brand new here, there shouldn't be too many of you guys now in this type of content, but we have a bunch of ones. You see these dots, these thick dots here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. These thicker dots indicate there's a lot of selling at that price. And if you see like a flat line here, that means there's not really that many sales there. So at the bottom here, there's so many solid dots that it indicates that there is only sales going on at 1. So then also down here, it indicates that too. You see how there's like a tiny spot here? There's a low and a high. That means the margin split away for a tiny minute. And each of these dots indicates about 5 minutes of selling time. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So then let's just move on to the next item. As you can see, the fire roads, they're still a little bit light, but we did have 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. I already forgot. We had time not trading. But we are seeing a lot more volume spike from the items I said yesterday. You remember when I said yesterday that we were low on air and water? Even fire or even earth runes, they're doing a little bit more in total volume. If we were to look at fire roads, as you can see, we have the part of the, you should be able to hover your mouse and see what the price is at a time. But as you can see, we have a dead zone. So there's server maintenance going on. As we can see here too, heading into the, it didn't seem to, the server restart maybe looks like a little bit that there's not a lot of activity, but also I mean like that kind of looks like other points of the volume. Yeah, so our volume here not as high as normal, but this is still a pretty good volume. 300 mil, 300 to 500 mil is like average expectation for your daily volume for fire runes, and we are still holding at a 5-6 margin. We had a couple big dumps before the server reset or maintenance, whatever the hell they're doing. We had a 3.3 mil, a 5 mil dump. We had a mil dump here, looks like. We had multiple dumps over 2.5 mil on the right side here. So we were seeing a lot of trade activity, a lot of opportunity for us to make a lot of money, as you can see from my trader check too. So that, fire roads are holding very steady, and I'm just hoping we could keep this on for a while. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like it's going to break down anytime soon, but the normal margin for these items, in case you're brand new here again, okay, I'm sorry to keep saying that, but in case you are brand new here and this is your first fresh start episode you're watching, these are the normal margins for fire runes, 5.4, as you can see here, for a very long time. Over the year, as you can see, you can see the market has mainly been a 5-4 market. And we're in some sort of event that is making all the elemental runes going to 5-6. And my theory is that there's a big ban wave, but I'm not 100% sure. Not really paying attention to the macroeconomics of the entire game. I just kind of watch my thing and I do my thing and then just make little guesses. So now we got water runes. I did say yesterday that they did start to crash. And once one starts to crash, they all start to crash. But it tested a new bottom, whatever. The crash happened, server, whatever, and then demand seemed to go back to normal. So it looks like that there was a little fluctuation in the margin right now, but that could have something to do with a 10 mil dump messing up the when you have a 10 mil dump, what happens is why I point those out is because in that 4-hour limit, now there's all the people who are buying. Their trades are filled up, but they hit their 4-hour limit. So then that's what I feel like these. So like say here, 22.45. We go to 22.45 here. We're still at a 5.6 margin, but now all the traders' buy limits have been hit because it's a 50K buy limit. Then it comes tumbling down because there's less traders in the market. So then there's not enough demand to meet the supply. So then the people who are putting runes in who want the money right now, they'll put it down at 4. And Jagex, there's something on the GE that like if enough. I don't know. Sometimes when I put a trade in, it's at 5. I'll get like cash back, like because somebody will put an offer in very low. So I think I don't know. I don't know what the algorithm does, but sometimes you get money back if somebody puts an offer in lower than what you're offering for. But yeah, but I'm saying like there's just probably not enough traders to facilitate these types of trades, and I don't know. It always seems to happen after there's a big dump, then the margin gets tested, and then it crashes. But as you can see here, there's not a lot of supply happening again. So then, we move out of that 4-hour buy limit. So then those traders who are originally trading, and they have like 4 mil in their accounts or 10 mil in their accounts or whatever, they probably just get refreshed, and now they're back in the trading pool. So then we go back to our 5-6 margin. So moving on. Air runes again. I don't know, actually. I don't remember yesterday. Okay, so it seems to be what I said, the domino effect might be happening. Like I said, as one starts to tumble, they all start to follow suit. So then we have 300 mil air runes. Maybe there's not as high demand on air runes. And again, like I said before, when you see one player dump a massive amount of runes, 36 million. Holy moly, yeah, that's 10%. That's over 10% of the volume. That's what I was saying. If you put 10% into a market, it makes it go volatile. And as you can see here, it kind of seems to make sense. So now, again, like I was saying though, when one rune starts to fall, they all tend to follow each other. All the elemental runes tend to follow each other. So like I said a million times, I'm saying like I said a million times, but sorry. All the elemental runes might start crashing down to 5-4. And fire runes are usually the last to follow because they usually have the highest volume. Okay, so expect that maybe moving forward. And the earth runes, again, they did test 5-6 for a little bit, but now we have multiple days. It's looking like we have multiple days of them back at 5-4, but we are seeing a volume of very high. Oh no, it's a pretty decent split. We had a big dump here, 1.5 mil at 4, so fire runes are pretty good to get at 4. Or earth runes, sorry, my bad. I'm sorry, misspoke. They seem like they're okay to get at 4 again, and then that opens us up to close cycle where we're able to sell back to the GE. But then also be able to immediately rinse our money. Like if you get like a huge amount of earth runes, like say you caught all 1.5 mil, you can put those back out of the GE, but you got to wait a couple days for those sales to go through, or you can immediately get the cash back, which is again technically more efficient, which is why we have a relationship with the bulkers. That's why in my Discord we have Mecha Cat and Bulk Bunny, because they buy at good prices for the elemental runes. Sometimes you can get 5. But don't expect 5 from bulkers, whatever, because they're selling to people for 5 to 5.5 or 6 or something like that. Like their margins are kind of razor thin too. So then they try to sell us. You know what I mean? We're all trying to make money here. We're all trying to serve each other. But don't expect 5 when you're selling to a bulker, is what I'm saying. And so that's it. That's the entire forecast. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a little bit more lengthy. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with this type of format, and I think I'll be able to really build on this format and create like a set of episodes for you guys to really capitalize and really just pay attention to the market. I hope, it's going to sound like I've been repeating a lot of the same things every day, but I just want to make sure that I'm like educating, trying to get you guys into my mindset, what I'm looking at when I'm looking at these trades and stuff like that. And then eventually, like, part of my goal is that you guys won't need me anymore, as much as like I would love to have you guys as viewers and stuff, and that would really help my analytics and stuff like that. But I'd really like to build you up to where I'm at so you can go on and grow and do whatever you can, because like, again, ultimately the goal of this RuneScape thing is like I made that sappy video giving all my money away. I owe a lot to RuneScape, to who I am today, and the community and stuff like that. And part of my mission, my purpose in life, is to build people up. And one of the only, you got to start from where you're at. So I got to start with where I have the most expertise, and it's kind of sad, but trading a particular niche on old school RuneScape seems to be where I am meant to start helping people out. If it's one person, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, I don't care what it is. I just want to know at the end of the day that I tried to help somebody learn something, because it's hard for me to explain real world values here, but maybe it'll resonate with you guys when I say this, but video games, and especially economy video games like old school RuneScape, they give you one-to-one transferable skills from the game to real life, which for me, in my personal experience, you'd have to ask people I know to like verify this type of stuff, but from my personal experience, I feel I've had an edge on like everybody I've worked against because of like concepts and little skills you get from RuneScape, like for instance thinking about efficiency, like just that obsession over efficiency, it being fresh on your mind when you walk into, like, say you're a Walmart employee, but you're a RuneScape player and you're thinking about efficiency and you're a stalker. Do you think most of the stalkers at Walmart, just your run-of-the-mill stalker, just has that in their head? You know what I mean? So like little things like that. And the more I feel like I can grow the community, old school RuneScape, educate like the bottom and bring the bottom up, not saying like you guys are like bad people or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying like there's people out there who could use a little helping hand. Also, that's part of the audience. I try to imagine who I was in 5th grade. I'm not saying you guys are 5th graders either. I'm just trying to say maybe you guys haven't been dealt a helping hand, and I'm hoping to help bridge that. Anyway, yeah. So enough rambling and sappiness, whatever. Thanks you guys for watching. And if you really made it this far, you should definitely subscribe. Definitely leave me some feedback, what you want to see me talk about, and you got any questions and stuff like that. Either go to the Discord or leave me some comments down below so I can address questions in the next video. I like doing that a lot. It makes it a lot more fun for me to make these videos. But yeah, really appreciate it, everybody. Thank you again very much. Hope you got something from this episode. Also, I should note, this is coming up, and I'll bring it up in a bunch of episodes, but I have to go help. I'm currently in between jobs right now, but I got a job bid to go work with my uncle to help my grandma tear down a barn. It's going to take me about 3 weeks, so that might mess with uploading. This is my first notice of that, I guess. I've told the Discord and stuff, and hopefully I can somehow like batch produce some content and maybe do like an every other day thing, or maybe like do some sort of like cell phone thing where I'm just kind of like talking, giving you guys live updates or something like that. Like, hey, I looked at the market. I don't know, whatever. Leave me some ideas there, something like that. I'd like to keep in contact with the RuneScape, like the subscribers, to keep you guys, because I did promise daily content. I want to try to stick to that. But yeah, I gotta still figure it out. I got till Sunday to figure that out. But with that being said, and I've said that about a million times, I'm going to go for the world record of saying that being said, and the other thing I was saying a lot this episode. See you later, guys.